How long does it take a 9-year-old to work out which family at that table is having a hard year? About 4 seconds. That is how long it takes to open a lunch bag in a school cafeteria. I packed lunches out of this kitchen for 18 years. I can tell you what went in them on the weeks the money was thin, and what went in them on the weeks it was not. And my children could tell you too, because nobody ever had to explain it to them. My name is Ruth Mae Callahan. I am 74, and somebody sent me a list of 25 dinners from the 1970s described as too good to forget. So let me be straight with you before we start. About a third of that list deserved exactly what it got, and I am going to say which ones as we go. The rest did not deserve it at all, and a few of them never actually went anywhere. Everyone gets a verdict from me. You will disagree with several, and that is rather the point. Do one thing for me first, and it costs you nothing. Tell me in the comments what state you were living in when you were 9, and what was in your bag. I read every single one of them. We are counting down from 25, and we are starting with the food people put out for company. We will finish with the food they did not. Number 25, tomato aspic. Tomato juice set with unflavored gelatin, tinned mixed vegetables suspended through it like insects in amber, turned out onto lettuce with a spoonful of mayonnaise on the crown. The gelatin was 30 cents and the tin was a quarter. My verdict is that this one earned its fate. A woman wrote under a video like this one that aspic is among the most revolting things ever invented, and more than 100 people went out of their way to agree with her. I am the 101st. Number 24, ham and banana hollandaise. A ripe banana wrapped in a slice of ham, baked, and then hollandaise poured over the whole arrangement. This appeared in women's magazines as an elegant luncheon. Bananas were 15 cents a pound. But no price on earth explains this. My verdict is that it deserved everything that happened to it, and I would like to know the name of the home economist who signed it off, because somebody did. Number 23, Jell-O 1-2-3. One powder that separated itself into 3 layers in the glass while it set. Clear jelly at the bottom, something like a mousse in the middle, foam on the top. 20 cents a box, and it is about $1.50 for ordinary jelly now. They stopped making it in the 90s. Verdict, and I am going to surprise you, it did not deserve to go. Watching one powder do that in a parfait glass was the closest most children of that decade got to a chemistry set. Number 22, deviled ham logs. Tin deviled ham beaten with cream cheese, rolled into a cylinder, then rolled again in chopped nuts or crushed crisps, chilled hard and cut into rounds. 30 cents for the tin and 45 for the cheese. It sat on a glass tray next to drinks nobody makes anymore either. Verdict, no great loss, but I will say this for it. A hostess could make it 3 days ahead, and there is not much on any modern table you can say that about. Number 21, Watergate salad. Pistachio pudding powder, tinned pineapple, small marshmallows, whipped topping, pecans if you were feeling generous, bright green, named after the scandal, which nobody at the time found strange, under $1 for a bowl that served 10. Verdict, this did not go anywhere. It is at a church supper in Pennsylvania this coming Sunday, and you know it is. Number 20, California dip. Why has this one outlived every other thing on the tray? Dried onion soup powder stirred into sour cream, and that is the entire recipe, which is the answer. Lipton printed it on the packet, and the country did the rest. 70 cents for both parts then, about $4.50 now. Verdict, still here, still undefeated, and every so often somebody serves it at a party and a grown adult says, "What is this?" which is a genuinely painful thing to witness. Number 19, carrot and raisin salad. Grated carrot, raisins, a sweet mayonnaise dressing, and sometimes crushed pineapple through it, which is the version my mother made and the one I still make every summer. Carrots were 15 cents a pound and are about $1.10. Verdict, it did not deserve to be dropped. It was the only thing with any color on a plate that was otherwise beige, brown, and more beige, and it was how a good many children in this country were tricked into eating a vegetable. Number 18, Velveeta fudge. Processed cheese melted with cocoa, butter, and powdered sugar, then set and cut into squares. Everyone recoils and then eats four. The cheese flavor vanishes completely, and what is left is smooth in a way that ordinary fudge is not. A brick was about $1.30 then, and is $9 now. Verdict, unfairly buried. Try it once before you make that face at me. Number 17, frosted meatloaf. An ordinary meatloaf, baked, cooled a little, then covered over in mashed potato, piped on with a bag, so it came to the table looking like a birthday cake. Some women colored part of the potato and put flowers on it. Under $3. Verdict, I miss it. Not the flavor, which was meatloaf, but the fact that a woman with no money at all could still put something on a table that made a room go quiet for a second. Number 16, Chinese pie. Nothing Chinese about it anywhere. It came down from the French-Canadian tourtière through New England mill towns, and it is beef and onion on the bottom, creamed corn through the middle, mashed potato over the top, baked until the peaks catch. Under $2, fed 6. Verdict, still alive in Maine and Massachusetts, and almost unheard of 3 states west, which is the strangest thing on this list. Number 15, chicken divan. Chicken and broccoli under a cream sauce with cheese and breadcrumbs over it, out of a restaurant in New York originally, then adapted by everybody using tinned chicken soup instead of the proper sauce. Broccoli was 40 cents a pound and is over $2. But the verdict is that it survived under an assumed name. Every chicken and broccoli bake in this country is this dish wearing a disguise. Number 14, quiche Lorraine. Bacon, Swiss cheese, and onion in an egg custard in a pastry case. Julia Child put it in front of the country, and the country took it up with real enthusiasm, right until a book in the early 80s made a joke about who did and did not eat it, and men stopped ordering it in public. Verdict, killed by a punchline rather than by taste, which is a stupid way for a good dish to die. Number 13, cheese fondue, and this is the one I would bring back before any of the others. Swiss and Gruyere, melted with white wine and garlic, in a pot set in the middle of the table, long forks with colored tips so everybody could find their own bread cube. If you dropped yours in the pot, you owed the table something. Verdict, badly missed, but not for the cheese. For the fact that it pinned people in one place, facing each other, for 2 hours at a stretch. When did you last sit at a table for 2 hours with the same people and nothing else to do? If you are getting something out of this, press subscribe. I put one of these out every week, and the ones that land are usually the ones that turn up the week you happen to need them, which I cannot arrange unless you are actually here. And if you have only just found me, I am Ruth, and this is my kitchen in Ohio. Number 12, Salisbury steak in a tray. A beef patty under mushroom gravy with mashed potato in one compartment, corn in another, and a brownie in the little square at the end that always came out either frozen or scalding. 59 cents then, about $3.50 now. Children were allowed to eat it on a folding tray in front of the television on certain nights, and that permission was the actual product. Verdict, it never left. It just stopped being an occasion. Number 11, crepes Suzette. Thin pancakes in a butter and orange sauce, set alight at the table with liqueur while everybody sat back from it. Somebody's father doing this in a dining room in Wisconsin with the overhead light switched off was, for a certain kind of household, the single most sophisticated thing that ever happened in it. Verdict, gone and not coming back because nobody is setting fire to anything at a table where a phone is recording it. Number 10, egg drop soup. Hot broth, eggs poured in a thin stream while you stir, and they set into ribbons as they go. But the trick everybody misses is that the broth has to be barely moving because a hard boil shreds them into nothing. Eggs were 77 cents a dozen and are near $4. Verdict, alive, but only in restaurants. Why does nobody make it at home anymore? It takes about 4 minutes, which is less time than deciding what to order. Number 9, potato peel soup. The peelings, which most people throw in the bin, simmered into a broth with an onion and salt. This is not a 1970s invention. It came down from women who had cooked through the war and simply never stopped. It cost nothing. It still costs nothing. Verdict, it deserved better than it got. And it is the only item on this entire list you could make tonight for no money at all. Number 8, salmon patties with creamed peas. A tin of salmon, breadcrumbs, an egg, fried in butter until the outside went dark, then a white sauce with peas poured over the lot. 85 cents for the tin, and about $4.50 now. 1 tin, plus peas out of the freezer, put 5 plates on a table. The bones go in too, and they crush down to nothing, and I am not telling you that for the nutrition. I am telling you because picking them out is how people waste half a tin. Verdict, this should never have gone anywhere, and if it left your house, it is because somebody decided tinned fish was beneath them, which is an expensive opinion to hold. Number 7, the sardine sandwich. Sardines out of the tin, crushed down with mayonnaise, spread on white bread, and a squeeze of lemon over it if the household ran to lemons. 30 cents a tin then, and about $2.20 now. Whoever opened one in a cafeteria was identified immediately by everyone in the room, and there was no hiding it. Verdict, it earned its exile from the lunch bag, but only there. At a kitchen counter with a cup of tea, it is a perfectly good thing to eat, and always was. Number 6, the onion sandwich. Raw onion, sliced thin, butter, bread. That is all of it. Some children brought these regularly, and the seats either side of them stayed empty until the bell. Verdict, indefensible in company and quietly excellent alone. The butter is not optional either, because it is the only thing standing between you and the onion, and a thin slice of a sweet yellow one on good bread is a supper I have eaten more than once in this house without telling anybody. Number 5, olive loaf. Pressed luncheon meat with green olives set through it, so every slice came out with a different pattern. 89 cents a pound then, $6 now. There was no middle ground on this in any school in America. You either counted your olives with satisfaction, or you picked them out and left them on the wax paper. Verdict gone, and the people who loved it have never once stopped talking about it, which tells you something about how it went. Nobody grieves a food they merely tolerated. Number 4, bologna and mustard on white bread. 69 cents a pound. 1 slice was standard, and 2 slices meant somebody was pleased with you that morning. But the version worth defending is the fried one, cut at the edges so it does not dome up in the pan, browned on both sides until it goes sweet. A man wrote under a video like this one that fried bologna is still his, and he is right. Verdict, never left and never will. My father ate one nearly every day of his working life and called it his second breakfast, which it was not because he had not had a first one. Number 3, the potato chip sandwich. Crisps crushed between bread with mayonnaise and then left in a bag until noon so they went half soft while the rest stayed sharp. But restaurants now charge real money for what they call a contrast of textures. 59 cents for the bag then, $4.50 now. Verdict, it survives in secret. Grown adults with their own homes still make this standing at the counter and would deny it under oath. Number 2, the butter and sugar sandwich. Butter spread thick on white bread and sugar scattered over it, pressed together, and by lunchtime the sugar had half dissolved into the butter and gone to a glaze. Under 10 cents, and the bread was the expensive part. Now, the comments on this one are always a fight, and the fight is never about whether it was good. It is about which version was yours. Cinnamon toast with the sugar and cinnamon baked in. The fluffernutter, peanut butter and marshmallow cream. Cream cheese and grape jelly, which several people call the poor man's cheesecake, and I am not going to argue with them. Verdict on all four, alive in kitchens and extinct on tables, which is not remotely the same thing as forgotten, and it is the difference this whole list keeps missing. Number 1, the lettuce and mayonnaise sandwich. 2 slices of bread, mayonnaise, and 1 leaf. 35 cents for the head of lettuce, and it made a week of them, which is the cheapest thing anybody has mentioned in any of these 3 videos. A woman wrote under a video like this one about carrying one on a school trip nearly 60 years ago. What happened at that table is the reason this is sitting at number 1 and not further down. A boy from a comfortable family looked across at what she had unwrapped, and his face changed, and he offered her his crisps and his sandwich and his bottle of Coke. She told him she liked lettuce sandwiches, thank you, and that she was perfectly fine, and she meant it. Then she said something I have not been able to put down since. She was not embarrassed by her lunch. What she carried for 60 years and what she sat down to write about was his kindness, not the sandwich, not the pity, the boy. That is the 25, and I have given every one of them a verdict you are welcome to throw back at me. But here is what I actually think, having gone through the whole list twice. The dishes that died were nearly all the ones made for other people to look at. The aspic, the banana and its ham, the flaming pancakes. Company food, performance, and the ones that are still going are almost all the ones nobody was ever meant to see. The fried bologna, the chips in the bread, the sugar on the butter, food eaten standing up or out of a bag by somebody who was not putting on a show for anybody, which is why I do not think this is a list about the 1970s at all. Every child at that table knew what the bags meant, and not one of them said so out loud. And the mothers packing them knew that too, and packed them anyway, because that was the morning they had. There is no shame anywhere in that story. There never was. It took some of us about 50 years to work that out. I have written all 25 out properly, with the price and the year it was made, and today's price beside it, in the collection linked below this video. Now tell me your verdict on the ones I got wrong, and I want the arguing ones especially. I read every single one. Next week I am going through the church supper dishes, where the entire point was being looked at, so bring your worst casserole, and tell me what was in your bag. Not what your family could afford, what was in the bag, and whether anybody at that cafeteria table ever said a word about it. Mine had bologna, 1 slice, and I never once thought about it until I was packing them myself. I am Ruth Mae Callahan, and I still butter the bread to the edges.